Food. It's more than sustenance. It's a story, a history, a window into a culture's soul. And few cuisines tell a story as rich and flavorful as that of France. From rustic medieval feasts to the refined elegance of haute cuisine, French cooking has evolved over centuries. It's a journey marked by innovation, tradition, and an unwavering dedication to the art of gastronomy. France's culinary journey is a fascinating exploration of flavor, technique, and cultural influence. It's a story that begins in the heart of medieval castles. Imagine grand banquets, roasting meats, earthy flavors. This was a time when food was more than just a meal. It was a symbol of power, prestige, and social standing. Over the centuries, French cuisine has undergone a remarkable transformation. It has been shaped by historical events, social changes, and the ingenuity of its chefs. From the opulence of the Renaissance to the revolutionary spirit of Nouvelle Cuisine, each era has left an indelible mark on the country's culinary identity. Join me as we take a deep dive into the history of French cuisine. We'll explore the evolution of flavors, we'll uncover the stories behind iconic dishes, and we'll discover how this cuisine continues to captivate and inspire food lovers around the world. Get ready for a delicious adventure. Step back in time to medieval France. Picture a world of towering castles, chivalrous knights, and grand banquets that fueled the social fabric of the era. These weren't just meals, they were elaborate affairs. Feasts were a spectacle of abundance, a way for the nobility to showcase their wealth and power. Imagine long wooden tables laden with platters of roasted meats, game birds, and fish. Spices, often imported from the East, added exotic aromas and flavors, a testament to the burgeoning trade routes of the time. Wine flowed freely, and entertainment, from musicians to jesters, kept the guests amused throughout the night. These medieval feasts weren't just about indulgence. They played a crucial role in society, serving as important social and political gatherings. They were an opportunity for nobles to forge alliances, discuss matters of importance, and reinforce their social hierarchy. The seating arrangements, the presentation of the food, and even the order in which dishes were served were all carefully orchestrated to reflect the social standing of each guest. Medieval French cuisine might seem rustic by today's standards, but it laid the foundation for the country's culinary heritage. It was a time of bold flavors, hearty dishes, and a deep connection between food and social customs. The extravagance of these medieval feasts may be a thing of the past, but their influence can still be felt in the French passion for good food and convivial dining experiences. Medieval French kitchens relied heavily on locally sourced ingredients. Think wild game, fresh fish, and seasonal fruits and vegetables. Grains, especially wheat and rye, were staples. Spices like pepper, saffron, and cinnamon were prized. Iconic dishes included spit-roasted pig, deer, or boar. Pottages and meat pies were also popular. Desserts featured fruits, nuts, honey, and spices. These traditions laid the foundation for modern French cuisine. The Renaissance, a period of cultural rebirth that swept across Europe, brought with it a wave of change that extended to the kitchens of France. Gone were the days of heavy, spice-laden dishes of the medieval era. In their place emerged a lighter, more refined cuisine, influenced by the artistic and intellectual spirit of the time. The Renaissance marked a turning point in French culinary history. It was a time of exploration and discovery, with new ingredients and ideas arriving from distant lands. The discovery of the New World introduced a wealth of ingredients to Europe, forever changing the culinary landscape. Tomatoes, potatoes, beans, and peppers, once unknown in Europe, began to appear in French kitchens, adding new flavors and textures to traditional dishes. This era also saw a growing interest in classical Roman and Greek texts, including those on cookery. Chefs, inspired by these ancient culinary traditions, began to move away from the heavy use of spices that characterized medieval cooking. Instead, they focused on highlighting the natural flavors of fresh ingredients. The Renaissance was a period of culinary awakening in France, a time when chefs began to break away from the rigid traditions of the past and embrace new ideas and techniques. It was a time of experimentation and innovation, laying the groundwork for the development of French haute cuisine. Section 5. Exotic inspirations, new ingredients and techniques. The Renaissance wasn't just about rediscovering the past, it was also a time for embracing the new and the exotic. The age of exploration brought a flood of new ingredients to Europe from the Americas and the East, and French cuisine was quick to incorporate these culinary treasures. Imagine the excitement when tomatoes, once considered poisonous by some Europeans, began to appear in sauces and stews, adding a vibrant acidity and depth of flavor. The potato, another New World import, quickly became a staple, its versatility lending itself to countless preparations. From the East, new spices and flavorings arrived, further expanding the culinary horizons of French cooks. Vanilla, with its intoxicating aroma, found its way into desserts and beverages, while coffee and chocolate, initially consumed as beverages, slowly began to be incorporated into sweet treats. This influx of new ingredients went hand in hand with the development of new culinary techniques. Sauce making, considered an art form in its own right, became more refined, with chefs creating lighter, more flavorful sauces using butter, cream, and wine. The use of sugar also increased, leading to the creation of elaborate desserts and pastries. Section 6. The rise of culinary literature. Cookbooks and Italian influence. The Renaissance saw a surge in literacy and the advent of the printing press, leading to a proliferation of cookbooks across Europe. These culinary manuals, once the exclusive domain of professional cooks, became increasingly accessible to the home cook, democratizing culinary knowledge and further fueling the evolution of French cuisine. One of the most significant culinary influences on France during this period came from Italy. Italian chefs, renowned for their refined techniques and elegant presentation, were highly sought after by the French aristocracy. Catherine de' Medici, an Italian noblewoman who became Queen of France in 1547, is credited with bringing Italian culinary influences to the French court. Italian cooks introduced new ingredients, such as artichokes, truffles, and Parmesan cheese, to the French table. They also brought with them innovative cooking techniques, including the use of forks for eating, a practice that was not yet common in France. Italian-inspired dishes like pasta and risotto began to appear in French kitchens, albeit often adapted to French tastes. The exchange of culinary ideas between France and Italy during the Renaissance was a testament to the power of cultural exchange in shaping culinary traditions. Section 7. Haute cuisine emerges, refinement and grandeur on the plate. As France transitioned from the Renaissance to the early modern period, a new culinary movement began to take shape, haute cuisine. This sophisticated and elaborate style of cooking, characterized by its meticulous techniques, intricate presentations, and emphasis on using the finest ingredients, became synonymous with French gastronomy. Haute cuisine, meaning high cooking in French, emerged as a reflection of the opulence and grandeur of the French court. Louis XIV, the Sun King, known for his lavish lifestyle and patronage of the arts, played a significant role in elevating the status of cooking to an art form. Chefs, no longer relegated to the kitchens, became respected figures, their creations admired and celebrated. They experimented with new techniques, created elaborate presentations that resembled works of art, and codified culinary principles that would form the foundation of classical French cuisine. Haute cuisine was more than just about food, it was about creating a dining experience that engaged all the senses. Meals were multi-course affairs, with each dish carefully crafted to showcase the chef's skill and creativity. The presentation of food became as important as the taste, with chefs arranging dishes with architectural precision. Section 8. Culinary Titans, Carême, Escoffier, and the art of French cooking. The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed the rise of culinary titans who would forever shape the landscape of French cuisine. Marie-Antoine Carême and Georges-Auguste Escoffier, considered the founding fathers of modern French cooking, codified culinary techniques, established culinary schools, and elevated the profession of chef to new heights. Carême, a visionary chef and architect, is often credited with refining and systematizing French haute cuisine. He believed in the importance of using fresh, seasonal ingredients and developing sauces that complemented rather than masked the flavors of the main ingredients. He's also known for his elaborate pieces montées, towering culinary sculptures that were as much works of art as they were edible creations. Escoffier, building on Carême's legacy, further refined and simplified French cuisine. He is best known for his book Le Guide Culinaire, a comprehensive guide to French cooking that is still used by chefs today. Escoffier also streamlined the organization of professional kitchens, introducing the Brigade de Cuisine system, a hierarchical structure that divides kitchen tasks into specialized roles. These culinary giants not only transformed French cuisine, but also exerted a profound influence on culinary practices worldwide. Their emphasis on precision, technique, and the use of fresh, high-quality ingredients continues to inspire chefs today. Section 9. Schools of Gastronomy, Codifying Techniques, Preserving Tradition. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed the establishment of formal culinary schools in France, solidifying the country's reputation as the epicenter of culinary education. These institutions played a crucial role in codifying traditional French cooking techniques, preserving culinary heritage, and training generations of chefs who would go on to spread French gastronomy throughout the world. Le Cordon Bleu, founded in Paris in 1895, became one of the most prestigious culinary schools in the world, attracting aspiring chefs from all corners of the globe. The school's rigorous curriculum, emphasizing classical French techniques and the use of the finest ingredients, set the standard for culinary education. These culinary schools played a vital role in standardizing French cuisine, ensuring that traditional techniques and recipes were preserved and passed down to future generations. They also fostered a sense of community among chefs, creating a network of culinary professionals who shared a passion for French gastronomy. Section 10. Modern evolution, from Nouvelle Cuisine to contemporary trends. While French cuisine is deeply rooted in tradition, it has never been static. The latter half of the 20th century saw a culinary revolution with the emergence of Nouvelle Cuisine, a movement that challenged the established norms of classical French cooking. Nouvelle Cuisine, meaning new cooking, emerged in the 1960s as a reaction against the heavy, sauce-laden dishes of traditional haute cuisine. Led by chefs like Paul Bocuse, Michel Guérard, and the Trois Gros brothers, this new style of cooking emphasized lightness, freshness, and simplicity. Gone were the heavy sauces and elaborate presentations. In their place were dishes that celebrated the natural flavors of fresh, seasonal ingredients. Nouvelle Cuisine chefs embraced lighter cooking methods such as steaming and grilling, and they weren't afraid to experiment with new ingredients and flavor combinations. This culinary movement was about more than just changing the food on the plate. It was about challenging the very definition of French cuisine. It was a rejection of the rigidity of the past and an embrace of innovation and creativity.